Hey everybody and welcome back to Split Couch Games. This is the second video in which I will be discussing the newly released Gears of War 4 maps for December. In this video I'll be talking about Glory, and the gameplay you're seeing is King of the Hill on the map. There's nothing spectacular. In fact, I played so poorly. So poorly. Don't judge me on that. I do get some nice moments towards the end, so maybe you guys can stick around and watch that, or you can just listen to me in the background while you do something else. When I first looked at the overhead map for Glory, I was immediately reminded of some other map. Could not put my finger on it right then, but as soon as I played it for a couple minutes, I knew exactly what I was playing. I was playing the spiritual successor to Thrashball from Gears of War 3. If you guys enjoyed Thrashball, you will most likely enjoy this to an extent, because there are a few key differences. They swapped the positioning of the power weapons. In Thrashball, the power weapons, which was a torque bow or a digger, spawned in the middle of the field. Instead of the power weapon being there, the frags are now there in the middle of the map, and the power weapon is off on the side. And the side that is covered from the rest of the map is basically just a shotgunner's paradise. You're going to go in there, you're going to be able to wall bounce, you're going to be able to get angles, you're going to be able to really have some epic fights in there for the power weapon, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I enjoyed my time in there. It was difficult because you also had to worry, you had to do it quickly enough because someone from the middle of the map was going to flank, and if the enemy team gets the nades, you're going to be in for a hell of a time. Another big difference, probably the biggest difference, and I probably should have started with that, there's a giant fucking turret sitting on the high side of the map. You know, it's kind of similar to the Mulcher and what it did for the map Thrashball. It's also similar to War Machine from Gears 1, where it was just stationary, but it did some damage. It seems a little bit weaker than a Troika, though. I hopped on it for a little bit in my time on the map, and I got a couple kills. Not in this video, I think. I think you see me later in the video miss people with it. It seems a little bit weaker than a Troika, so it's not as strong, but if you can hold it on there for probably like 3 shots, you're gonna kill people. So it's definitely worth checking out and messing with and seeing if it's even worth hopping on there. And the last big difference is that the upper area, the higher area, the high side, whatever you want to call it, is more spread out. On Thrashball, if you weren't careful as you try to push there, you were running into a choke point, and it was a lot easier to hold than it is on Glory, which is a really welcome change in my opinion. Once you get up there, it's a wide staircase, so it's very unlikely that they'll be able to just hold you off. You might have to throw a smoke grenade to make sure that you're not just getting assault rifle down or get 4-pointed with a shotgun right away. Whatever the case may be, once you're up there, there are 2 paths to enter the central area of that. There's the first path is a very narrow doorway with like a little room and then another doorway. Don't recommend going that way most of the time. The correct way will be to go around to the back, which is a much more wide open lane. And if you can get in there, you can even like sneak in through the back there and might not be noticed, and you can get a lot of Lancer angles. Or Lancer or other assault rifles, as the case may be. I always play with the Lancer because that's just Gears of War to me. But I digress. Overall, this map, I don't really know if I like it, unfortunately. I want to like it, and I think it's going to be a good execution map. But I think that hiding the power weapon away and just like really tucking it away so that it's a lot easier to control, because if you have the setup with it, like if you use the power weapon to keep the power weapon setup, you're going to be able to just continuously pick it up on respawn game types. On execution, it doesn't matter as much, because if you lose the power weapon, then you just probably lose the round pretty quickly, and then you just move on to the next round and try again. But the worst part is that if you lose the power weapon, they can use that power weapon to take the top side, and then once you're cleared out of the top side, they can move back, and about that time the power weapon will probably have respawned, but you also have control of the top side with the turret and probably the nades, and it's just a very snowbally map. And that's definitely what I experienced in my playthroughs, is that once a team had an advantage, it was very difficult to break that setup. And you'll see that in the gameplay, is that even though I started playing a lot better, it was just overwhelming to try to fight a lot of those battles based on just what was had by the enemy team and their positioning that they won with the weapons that they won it with. So any respawn game types like TDM and King of the Hill are probably not going to be super enjoyable. You're going to get a lot of lopsided victories in there. Dodgeball, Execution, and Escalation should be fine. Dodgeball's more round-based anyway, and Escalation is not impacted by the default weapon spawn, and because you place the weapons, for those who don't know who haven't played it. And Execution is very round-based. This is a very symmetrical, very fair map, and should be a lot of fun, and you'll be able to run a lot of different strategies, because from what I can tell, you're either going to fight for the power weapon or you're going to fight for the high side of the map. And if you fight for the high side of the map, you have to watch out, because the power weapons are strong, and especially if you're on the turret, you have to keep in mind that the boom shot will be able... I died to this at some point, I don't think it's in this gameplay, where if you're on the turret, the boom shot will hit and blow you up. And you also have to watch out for the drop shot. The drop shot, very clearly, they'll be able to drop it right on your head because you're not moving on the turret. But if you execute it right, it seems like both sides, like both strategies, are very competitive with each other. They're very balanced. So if you execute on the high side of the map, you should be able to beat the power weapons as they try to push into you. You do have to be careful giving them a boom shot, because the boom shot is always strong, but for the most part it should be pretty equal, and if you use the boom shot correctly, you should be able to push in. So like, it's really going to be a matter of executing at that point. You got to make sure that the low side does not get the nades cleanly as well. That's for sure, because if they have nades and boom shot, you're gonna run into a lot of problems on the top side of the map. So I think overall it's going to be easier to execute with the bottom side strategy, picking up power weapon and nades, but the high side strategy is open to you if you enjoy more assault rifle play, and if you have like a teammate that you can tag people with 2 assault rifles at the same time. That'll probably work out pretty well. Before I really say like this is a good map or a bad map, I need to play a lot more on it. It's not unlike Spire, Spares. I think it's Spare. I don't know. Spare, if you like, I immediately felt like that was a really good, solid map that was going to provide a lot of fun gameplay. No over ridiculous snowball was going to happen. This map, I'm just not 100% sure. I've seen maps like it before. Thrashball, you also had that with it, but it was a lot harder to execute a pure snowball because of where the power weapon spawned, and if need be, the enemy team could deny you the next spawn of it by dropping the scoreboard on it. You can't really deny a good team the power weapon on this map, and that creates a lot of very difficult uphill battles. And the other thing that like I've noticed, and like I'm afraid that will happen, is because the power weapon is a lot easier to pick up, there's not going to be that tension that's holding people to certain parts of the map anymore. It's going to be, oh, one team won the power weapon, and now the map shifts completely. With Thrashball, it was a lot of fun because it was like, oh, I won the grenades. Did I say grenades? I won the nades. But now I have to use those and my smoke grenades to try and win the power weapon, or go take the top side and then protect the power weapon. But the power weapon was in the map and was never really picked up in the first like minute of the match, and it was just a lot of tension trying to get that, because that was a huge advantage, and that was a lot of fun. And I don't think that where they have the weapon placed now is going to provide that same sort of tension. But anyway, with that, I'm going to end the video. If you guys haven't already, you guys can check out the breakdown of Spare. I think I released it probably like 30 seconds before I released this video, so they're out at probably the same time. So go check that out if you want. The link will be in the description. You can also check out some of our Gears of War 4 gameplay. This is a Let's Play channel. It's me and my friend Ben. We release a Let's Play every single day, so we have a lot of live commentary for Gears of War 4 PvP. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, you can there. I will link one of those or multiple of those videos in the description below as well. But we also have other Let's Plays, so if you're interested in checking those out, go ahead and do that. And I hope to see you guys next time on Split Couch Games.